from KYMA News 11.
Two area prep baseball powers, each fighting for a spot in the upcoming 6A state playoffs. Welcome back, everyone. Cibola and San Luis split the first two games of this season finale series, each hoping to garner enough power points to play in the second season. We go to the rubber match in San Luis as Wilbur Espinoza and the Sidewinders trying to stop the bats of Antonio Torres and the Raiders. Top first, Aiden Guzman hits a deep fly along the first base line. Javier Rochin jets into foul territory, making the diving catch for the first out of the game. Later in the inning, Espinoza would get into a groove, getting Salvador Herrera to strike out swinging. He'd also give the KO treatment to Sebastian Orozco Araiza to close out the top half of the game, remaining scoreless. San Luis would get their bats going in the bottom half with a runner on second. Ernesto Ochoa drives this Orozco Araiza pitch in the shallow left center. Javier Rochin rounds third base and easily scores the first run of the afternoon. But the bleeding would stop for Cibola because Orozco Araiza forces Joshua Abril to ground out the short to end the first inning. But the Sidewinders would build on that early lead, winning the rubber match by a 7-3 final. We'll see in the coming days what the playoff fate will be for both teams. To Dean Stout Field with Kofa Kings well in control against the Westview Knights in the top of the fifth. As we enter Kofa sophomore Adam Corbett loosening up and looking to make quick work of the Knights to close out the game. Corbett gets the leadoff batter to swing at strike three for the out. Corbett and the Kings looking to get back to 500. Now Corbett is going to get the next batter to swing at a ball in the dirt. It's a slow roller to third, and watch Angel Fragoso make the barehanded play and the toss to Aiden Rodriguez for the out. Great play. Kofa rolls big time, 28-1. Meanwhile, Arizona Western College baseball attempts to regroup after a rough weekend setback. The 13th ranked Matadors just got their 20-game winning streak snapped with a doubleheader road loss to 6th ranked Central Arizona over the holiday weekend. AWC would look to rebound against the Yavapai Rough Riders, a team that swept them earlier this season, as Jack Waters is going to take the mound after Juan Gilfranco was pulled out after 2 innings. And it would be a smooth relief stint for Waters out of the gate as he gets Alex Uloa to pop up into the glove of Noah Marcelo for a 1-2-3 inning. To the bottom half of the third, Dylan Edmonds on first and Samuel Fabian rips one line to short, but it's caught and catches Edmonds in the base path for a 6-3 double play. And then the Matadors, well, they just could not push runs across, and they take the game one loss 4-1. They'd also go down in game two as well. Well, to Charlie Dine softball field is Coach Nicky Bethroom and the Lady Matadors looking for their first win in 9 games, taking on the Glendale Gauchos. Elisa Garcia on the hill. Bottom of the second, Jocelyn Hernandez hits a bouncer to short, but Eliana Manzano gets caught in a pickle. We hit the fast forward button and watch his play before Manzano. She's going to get caught down at home plate. Lady Mats not able to capitalize. We jump ahead to the top of the fourth. Garcia flashing some leather on the mound. A hot shot back to her and having some fun, breaking a move after the nice play. But then the Gauchos threatening with 2 on, but Garcia gets the batter to hit a soft liner right to Jocelyn Hernandez for the final out. 4 scoreless innings for Garcia. Leadoff batter Angela Oros in the fourth, showing off her power, sends one beyond the right center field fence for her second solo shot of the game. But that would be the most the Matador offense could muster. They can't hold on, taking the 6-4 loss in game one, but they bounce back to take game two, earning a doubleheader split. From the collegiates to the preps, head coach Lacey Jaime, athletic director Roque Jaime, and the Antelope Rams playing host to Odyssey Institute. Bottom second, Marissa Carrillo slaps his pitch to short to lay down the sacrifice single, bringing Yareli Manriquez to home plate. The Rams taking the early 6-0 lead. And Manriquez would also get the starting pitching nod for Antelope. After giving up her first run, Manriquez would settle in, forcing a pop-up into her own glove. And for good measure, she's going to repeat the same kind of play, except infield specialist Yalmali Manriquez closes out the top of the third. The Rams would dominate the Minotaurs by a 27-6 shellacking. Well, the girl in the purple basketball shoes is taking her game to the next level. Cibola's Mina Johnson today signed her collegiate letter of intent to Arizona Christian University in Glendale. In Raider Gym this afternoon, her parents, her family, friends, teammates, coaches looking on as Johnson made it official. She will join the Firestorm basketball team of Arizona Christian. Johnson's aggressive style of play, along with her basketball smarts and athleticism, helped her amass over 1,000 points and many awards in her Lady Raider career. Mina had a total of 8 schools to choose from, but shares what made her decide on Arizona Christian.
It was probably just what I felt most comfortable at. So I went to tour a lot of schools, and I just wanted to feel like comfort, like a second home, since I'm going to be there for a while. And I liked that it was closer to home. I love Yuma and family, so that's what it came down to.
Plans to major in psychology and hope to work with the kids with special needs. At News 11 Sports, we certainly wish her nothing but the very best with her bright future ahead. All right, we're done with this loaded round of sports. Wiley, back to you.
Lots going on, Rob. Thank you.